Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works, and my name is Keith, and we're about ready to start Do-Over Part 9. And just taking a moment here, and in a little less than 8 hours we will be celebrating a week ago today. Just saying. Alright, let me get this turned around here, and we're going to be setting up this dividing head. And the first thing we're going to need to do is change out the masking plate on the back side so that we get the increments of rotation that we want for this job. So let me bring you in a little closer and we'll get on with this project. Alright, now we've already planned out how we're holding our jig into the dividing head, and we got a mill stud coming all the way out here. Actually, a couple of them. We have a coupling nut in here so that we get the right amount of studs sticking out here. Alright, now this plate holds in this plate is a retainer plate that holds in masking plates, and we have the masking plate picked out that we want to put in there. This has got 4 notches, and I believe we are only going to need to rotate this in 90-degree increments. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pop this out of here, because I think we have the 6-point masking plate in here, and we'll change that out. So these 3 screws right here just hold this plate on. There's no doweling or anything else. This is just a face that goes against the inner spindle, and it holds with clearance for that masking plate, so everything can still spin. And you can grab a hold of the back of here with a clamp and not bind up and still rotate the dividing head. So, and that just seats against that inner surface there. Nothing rubs out here. It's just holding that plate up in place. Now we have we're checking. Okay, we have 0 on our setting, and these have locating pins that holds them in. And the reason why they're called masking plates is because they actually cover all increments of, I believe there's 24, and without any plate up there, you can have quick index for 24 points. But the this one here is the 6 pattern, and we're going to go ahead and slip in the 4 pattern now. And there's a series of holes in here that kind of lets you fit every plate, and also have a combination of where you want your pattern in relationship to the rotation of the chuck. Sometimes you might want to be offset from the jaws or whatever for some reason. Okay, and it's a good idea to go ahead and wipe that clean, wipe this clean, just making sure you don't have any chips in between those 2 points there, or contact. Rarely do I find chips in there. It's pretty hard to get in there. It is away from the cutting area, and it's metal to metal on the inside. It has a very small gap around the outside here. Okay, now that we have that back on there, we don't have to move the lower part or the base of our jig, because it is it maintains its position in the jaws. We will rotate the part and tighten the outside clamp, which will locate the part in relationship to the slug, and then we're going to go ahead and put some kind of a hole in there to keep it from rotating. Alright, with this up in place here now, we can tighten this down so we know that is locked in there securely in the jaws, and we also can just double check. Of course, we're not anchored down yet, and I will, once we get anchored, I will also give that another cinch. But we release the brake, and we're still free to roll the index head. And it locks into one of the 4 places, which actually is our 0 starting point. Alright, And we're going to verify that actually, you know, we're comfortable with the jaw positions and all of that. I don't think we're going to be near it in any one operation. We're going to be out here, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. But it is something to think about if you do happen to have to work up close to your jaws. You got to plan out that rotation and where you're going to be stopping, where you're going to be as far as spindle or chuck clearance, things like that. All right, we got this turned around. We went ahead and we're going to tighten up one stud in here just so we can clamp this down, and then we're going to be setting this square so that we can drill our locking hole, and we're setting our relationship to the rotation of this part with the dividing head, and it'll be locked in. It'll stay in there for the duration. We will have to pull this back stud out to lay it down flat on the table because this protrudes out and there's no way we can get that mating flat surface. And then we're going to free drill with our 320 drill, and then our pin that we use for locating, we're going to be inserting that into the aluminum so that it will register and keep this thing from rotating, and we won't have to worry about that slipping as we're going through the process there. And we'll be picking a spot that we will be away from where we're slitting and everything else, as far as the cut and any of that area. We'll be making sure that our drill bit pin is out of the way. All right, there we go. We're locked down there. You know, we can loosen this cap right here. I'll just pop this off here real quick so you can get a view of that. I don't know if that's in the way. All right, and there's our slug. Here's our part. Nice good fit on there. Okay, that's held in there. This is a secondary stud coming in here, so there's one stud going that way holding it into the dividing head, and one stud coming out here. And if you have this just right, it goes on real nice. Okay, then our cap. Okay, now we can take and we can square this up here because we confirmed that the squareness of this flat, the hole pattern, is square to the bore for the clamping bolt. And we'll go over to the housing itself, or bring the housing over here in front of the camera and give you a proof of that squareness there. And this is where we're going to go ahead and lock this down now. I like that location. Okay, now we can break this one loose and pull the stud out, and then we're going to stand the thing up and we're going to plan out where our drilled hole will be. Which one of the 6 holes we're going to use is what I said. All right. Alright, we'll lower down and we'll get in position. Okay, I brought it in apart here so we can check. I'm not going to drill it here because we got a jaw in the way, and really, I mean, our machining is all going to be out on the mill here, so it's not going to be in the way anywhere. But I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick this hole right here, just so that I'll be able to get right down to the bottom of that. And of course, this is just a freehand drill here. And I'm going to use that hole as the guide. It's got a little weight on it, so it's not like there we go. I think we're gonna be good there. All right, and Give it a little bit of Luma tap here. There we go. Okay. A little bit of friction there. We'll see if we have any problems with that. If we do, then we'll mushroom a little bit on the bottom here. But that's at least a good safety feature, that we know that the thing is not going to rapid spin around on us. Alright, now we can go ahead and we'll clear up the rest of the chips here. We'll get it set up on a clean surface, rotate it around towards us, and put our stud back into the back. Okay, I got this turned around, I got it cleaned off. I got these two studs in here. Now I want to go ahead and I want to set this square with the table. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank this back, and I've wiped these ways off right here and here, and this ways off here. And I'm going to bring those to where they touch, and I can just push this back and I can start watching it feed forward. Now I know I'm going to make those two surfaces before I hit my scale back there, which you want to make sure. Your scale should have a stop. You should have a solid stop in there so that you know that you're not hitting your scale. I'm up against there. All right, now we know that we're square with the table. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure that our ram and everything else is going to come out here and be able to do what we want to do, and we can still have room to maneuver around here. I don't want to be way back in the back, but I don't want to be sticking out too far. All right, so we're going to loosen up our ram, and we're going to slide our ram out now. We got probably 3 fingers back here, you know, about 2 inches there. And this spindle, we want to be out here somewhere in the center here, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting in two holes that will be the start of our slit around, and we're going to be coming down and we're going to be milling in. We're going to be milling in the 2 surfaces, clearance for the all thread, and also connecting spot for the 2 slugs here that draw and clamp this together. So let's go ahead and we're just going to loosen the 2 hex bolts here that hold the ram for your in and out travel, and then just crank the ram out, and we're just giving it an eyeball here, and we got to make sure all of our stuff out of our holding tray is not in the way. All right, that's pretty comfortable right there. I'm just going to lock it down right there. I'm happy there. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to set up our edge finder, and we're going to come down and we're going to grab, and we're going to position ourselves so that we're going to be center on the part. Okay, we got our micrometer here because we wanted to refresh ourselves with our diameter here, and this is about 1,500 under 4 3/4, so 4,748.5 or so. So that's, we want half of that to be center on here, so we're just gonna come over here and we're gonna dip on to the side there, and we're just we eyeball it, so we're just kind of coming over here to where we know we're past half there, and real close. Okay. And I'm just bringing this down here. I want to eyeball it so that I know where center is. And I could have touched off the top there, but I'm eyeballing it. I can see where we're going to be making contact here. And I want it to be like in the center of my split there. All right. And we're locking all the, semi-locking our table here so that we get, there it's just kicking. One more time. There it kicks. All right, we're going to set that again. And we'll do this a couple times to where we make sure that we are right at that point. I'm at 0 again. Okay. All right, half of that is 250. There we are. All right. Now half of 4 3/4 would be 2 3/8. 2 3 7 5. All right. Now at that point, we're going to go ahead and we're going to call that 0. And to double check that, we're going to go ahead and come over and we're going to touch off of this side here. And we should have 2 3/8 plus 1/4 would be 2 5/8. Somewhere outside there. And come in here and do this again. And all I need to do is touch and kick, and we are 2/6/19. Let me do it again. (2/6/19). Okay, plus the inch and or 1.5 thousandths there. So we have an error. We have an error of about 4 thousandths. There's 0. All right, 2 thousandths my side there. Read 0. All right. We'll compensate for the error and the diameter within 1/2 thousandths now. All right. So we got 0. Oh, I took that out a little early. All right. Because we're gonna be bringing over the housing. I'm gonna show you what we're gonna come, but we're gonna touch off this because we're gonna come over and we're calculating 0 of our arcs. And that's what I'm going to do, the arcs before I actually do the split line holes. And we're going to be rotating this 90 degrees because the bolt is going to be going on this side here. All right, let's go ahead and touch off of that. Kicked. 0. Kick. 0. We like that. All right. 250. There we are. 0. Okay. We have 0 location as far as center this way, and 0 location from this flange down to our 2 dimensions that we're going to need. One for the split line and one for the clamping bolt. All right, we're going to be figuring out a few things here to get that scallop shape put in there. And basically, we're going to go. This is 9/16 and this is 7/8. All right, now we can pre-assemble this in here. And the reason why I went from the face on here as far as my dimensions, because we're going to be going from here down to there with the depth mic as soon as I go get one, and then we'll be able to take and split half of that dimension there, and then we'll know center of this. Then we will also the center of that is also the same. Both of them are exactly center, so that'll get us to the center. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to measure this diameter here, subtract that from here, and we'll know how much we're going to be feeding it in from the outside. All right. And what we also got to do is go ahead and pre-assemble this somewhat on this ring here, and we're going to figure out basically rough what they have for a split in here, and then we'll know how far from center up that landing will be right there. Alright, and that's a good start to go ahead. And I'm just jotting this down so that I can pencil in a few figures on my CAD, cartoon assisted drawing here. Alright, we got our depth mics here. Now we have a little bit of play on this thing up and down here. So we're just going to go down and we're just going to touch it. We know that it's hard there. So we got 444. Okay, I can feel it there. There's 42. So 42 to 44 is our dimension down to it. Half of 7/8 is 7/16, so that's 0.4375 plus 0.443 equals, okay, so 880 and a half is the dimension that we're looking for. Okay, now we brought the center section out here so that we can get to it, and this is the old ring here, and it has a lot of play. It's stretched out more so this way than it is this way here. Alright, but we're just using it for dimensions on rough dimensions on our split line, and we're just kind of roughly holding these pieces into the right spot here. I may actually have to get a little spacer here so that we can hold that up and get closer to a true reading here. Okay, a couple shims from our broaching kit, 1/16 of an inch, holds it up in there. Both of them are pushed back pretty good, and this is about 100 thousandths. We know that basically can be 1/8 of an inch, but I'm going to write it down as 100 thousandths, and let's get a length right in here, and we're looking at 1/350. 1/350. Alright, I like that. So actually split line, we're looking at 5/8 each way. 5/8, maybe a little bit more than 5/8. We're looking at 650 thousandths up. Okay, we're taking 20 at a time. Very little vibration on our setup. I think the 4 flute, actually, when you're plunge cutting, 4 fluter is a little better than 2. If you're in milling 100% of the depth of your keyway, a 2 flute is better because it has more chip clearance. But coming down on 4 flutes on the end with a partial cut is more constant as far as the amount of cutting action going on with your end mill, and it's less chance of biting. But I'm still controlling it with my hand feed. And coming up, and there's our mark. All right. We're coming down on our last cut. We will check the depth with the scale here. Okay, there's our final. I'm gonna let it roll for a couple minutes there. We can see tool pressure still flaking off a little bit of the cast. Okay, now we'll bring it back up. All right, now this should be a 1/4 inch deep here, and by our scale it's 1/4 inch deep right there. We're gonna roll this over now. There we go, locked in. All right, now we'll be able to go straight across to this other side here. We'll bring you around on the other side so that you can see the cutting action going on this side here as well. Okay, we'll roll over on this side now, and we touched off and we're taking the first 25. There's just going to be a little tiny cut. Here again, making sure all of our brakes are locked. And of course, there's our depth that we went in on the other side, and we're overlapping about the width of the slot that's going to be in there at the split line. So we did good there. All right, and we just bring it on up. We're going to feed in another 25. Okay, and we're going to take this on in till we reach our matching depth, and then we're going to lay the stud in there. We're going to get a good look at it. This is our last cut. We should be matching up with the other scalloped machined area that we did on the other side. I'm at the same reading, 2 inches 403 from center. Okay, just like the other side, we'll let it cut a little bit. We see a couple little remnants of cuts, okay, and we pull it out. And how does our cut feel? Okay, I got just a little tiny bit right there. I'm gonna go ahead and it feels like about 5 thousandths. So that's what I'm going to crank in here. Okay, I don't feel any catch here. I do feel a slight little light catch there. I'm gonna leave that right there because it feels pretty darn close on the bottom there. All right, let's see how the stud lays in there as soon as I find it. All right, we found our stud and it lays right in there. Feels good. Our next diameter here, we're gonna hunt up a cutter, and then we're going to come on down. First, we're going to take that cutter, we're going to put it in, we're going to touch off here because we need to know where that shoulder is going to be in height in relationship to here. Alright, we take this diameter, or this thickness right here, plus 50 thousandths, and that figured out to be about 650, 680, somewhere around in there. Alright, I'll loosen up my brake here on the table. I got the 7/8 in here, and you can also notice that I put the clamp on the back side here. All right, we're getting serious now, and I just want to make sure that we do not. I'm just coming in here close to 0, and that's within a thou or two. All right, now we're going to come down here and we're going to touch, because we need to know that final depth. This is the one that actually shoulders out, so this is the one that's important. All right, so I set that. I'm going to go ahead and bring it down close, so I'm okay right there. Now we're going to be coming into our same number, because this cutter's wider, but it's still going to be center line with the bolt. I mean, the center of that is traveling with the center of that. Okay, so we're going to stay at same number. It's just the difference of depth. Now the depth of excuse me. 2372 minus, and we go ahead and we take this thickness here, which is about 620.620 equals 1752 minus 0.50, because we say that gap is 100 thousandths, and that's what we got on it, so we'll say that. So about 1702. Now 1702, let's put that in the dial here. 1 inch. I'm going to come out a little bit more. All right, and rotate this around. All right, 1 inch 702 is right there. And let's just go ahead and put that right there, and that looks pretty comparable right there. Yep, I like that. This little line right there is actually the bottom of there. That's because I came right down to the bottom of it, knowing that I would pass it. All right, I'm totally stoked on that, and I'm gonna set that point right there now at 0, because we'll be able to go to that point on the other side. All right, I'm gonna bring it up, make sure my collet is nice and tight. It is. All right, my brake's back on. That's on. That's on. Looks like we're good. What are we on the rotation? We're still rotating. We're rotating. Let's go ahead. I'm going to speed this up just a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'm going to come on down here, and that's 0. All right, and I'm just gonna I put this in freewheel because I'm just gonna come in basically close enough. All right, that's touching. I just want to know pretty much where I have for a free start here. I know, you want to get in close and see this one, huh? We're out, this is like 2614, and we'll be coming into 243, so we got almost 200 thousandths that we're going to be traveling, and this is a little bit better than 30 thousandths right here. Here we go. 100 off the bottom. Okay, there's 0. Alright, same as the other side. Cranking in about 20 thousandths per pass. 20, 25. There's our 0. Okay, we'll bring you back in when we get in there close. We do have another 100 thousandths to go on the depth. Okay, here comes the finished cut. Came in just a little closer for you. This is 25 thousandths or so for our finished cut. As far as the depth in we went. Another 50. Okay, there's right at the bottom. All right, there we go. Let's find our bolt and our piece here, and it actually goes this way here. Okay, that fits good there. Let's roll it over. We're going to get this side done with it facing the other direction. Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and crank it on over here. Okay, somewhere in that neck of the woods there. Okay, and we get ready to roll this over here. There we go, locked in, locked down. And all right, there's our 0. We're just going to go up above about 100 thousandths or so. Lock that in. We're going to lock this in. And we're just going to go in nice and easy until we lightly touch, and then we'll be able to start our increments of 25 to 40 thousandths on a depth. That's what we've been averaging. Another 50 thousandths. Okay, that's 0. All right, just for kicks, let's go ahead and let's hold that one right there with 100,000. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Okay, I'm just sighting across here to see if the height looks good. It looks good by eyeball, so I'm just gonna trust my measurements and everything else that I've done to get this far and keep going. Okay, we're getting ready to go for our last cut. This is 20 thousandths. You can feel a little bit more pull with the 2-fluter bouncing in and out of there than you can with the 4-fluter on the first hole, but we're also a little wider on the diameter, which is going to play a little bit more to it as well. But we're glad we went through every bit of precaution that we did, because if it, you know, we just don't want it to go anywhere. We got 200 to go. Eighth of an inch. 80 thousandths. There's 50 thousandths. 25. Okay, we're coming in nitty gritty here. We got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, we're gonna let it feed there just a couple seconds. All right, we're pulling out. All right, now let's go ahead and we'll screw both of our pieces together. There we go. I'm holding that into the valley, and that's spinning pretty free. I like that. You know, if we have to, we can massage this a little bit by hand if we need to. We'll get it in, and we'll see if we got a bind, and we'll just hope that we are right in there. By all of our dimensions, we got to be real close. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull out our end mill, and we're going to get set up with our drill bit, because we're going to go ahead and locate the start of our slit going this way here on both sides, and we're going to drill a small hole that will give us a radius or a round end to the slot. That creates a less stress area than if we left it square and sharp.